Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Just Games Store Championship in Rochester. My name is Tim.
And Brandon.
And we've got JJ and Mike yet again. JJ on the left playing Leela Patel, and Mike on the right, who has Jinteki Biotech. In this series of videos, he actually is playing Jinteki Biotech, I promise, unlike last time. So he makes his selection there. And most of the time, I assume it's the kill ID.
It's the easiest one.
Yeah, like you kind of have to build your deck towards it, and so that it sort of pigeonholes you into using that. Yeah. Leaving R&D open?
It is a fascinating ID, though.
Yeah, I really like it.
Deck building for it is definitely fun.
Yeah, because you want to have outs in kind of two directions with it.
Sure.
And yeah, Jinteki is becoming a very solid faction. They have good operation econ. They've kind of always had some of the better agendas, I would say. Besides NBN, of course. Yeah. But going to grabbing the zoo. And so actually, yeah, leaving a central open against Leela is a dangerous prospect, I would say. She hits that.
She can snowball real fast.
If she hits that one agenda off R&D here,
right,
the game just opens up.
So it looks like we have Caprice, Snare, Fetal.
Okay, so we're killing people here.
Yep.
Mushin just comes into hand. And especially early game, I like... Oh, in the museum. I hate the museum.
Boy.
Hopefully we're not in for a 50-minute game here with the Museum of History. That's one of the big cards I would say in Ghoda that came out was the Museum and the Temple.
Yes.
And Museum, as soon as Museum came out, everybody, at least in our local group, started playing IG like crazy. And we had some slogs.
Yes.
Mongoose. That was another one of the new cards that I think is quite nice for Criminal, because you can kind of stick it behind a fairy for double protection. And besides, I would say, like, Haas or, like, kill-heavy NBN decks, sentries aren't super favored right now.
Right.
Things have shifted really heavily code gate, I would say.
The Mongoose is a card that I think is needed. I mean, sentries are just notoriously hard to break.
Yeah.
And Mongoose, while it does have that weird trick of you can only be used on one piece of ice, like it again, you're right. I mean, you don't really stack sentries all that often.
Yeah, right.
And with Criminal, you can use it to supplement something.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because Criminal is kind of the killer faction, but outside of, Fairy, which is incredibly effective, you have to go to something like Fem or Ninja or something like that as your pumpable breaker, and those are really expensive.
Garrote needs to make a comeback.
Yeah, man. That install cost.
The install cost, and it's also
and
2
the
MU.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you look at like the
brutal
corroder equivalent breakers, and like you have Gordian Blade, which is like still really solid, and then you have Garrote, which is just bonkers.
There goes a Mushin.
Mushin, and then quadding it up.
Yep.
The old Jinteki Gambit.
Do you hit that?
No, I think as Leela, you probably just try to score an agenda somewhere else.
Yeah.
And bounce that, hopefully. R&D is still wide open. And looks like no love, though. Oh, no, okay. Oh, but you can't side game. He's only got $1. But actually, that means he can just keep going. He can use it as like a small account siphon.
Sure.
Just keep running R&D and betting 0. But that is the thing with the museum, is that you can't really R&D lock or like track where their agendas are. So normally you'd be like, oh, okay, he's going to draw that feature perfect, then I know where it is.
Right.
But museum lets him just shuffle the deck.
Those gigantic Gagarin decks.
Oh.
Yeah, with there's like 5 agendas.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
Yeah, and this is actually a fairly good trade for JJ because he's gaining money off Desperado while draining money out of Mike.
It's interesting that he did take a credit prior to running, though. He did not.
Yeah.
He should have just ran in 3 times.
Yeah. Well, no, he was getting money off the Desperado was where he got the extra credits from.
All right. I must have missed that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Museum of History. The museum is, what, 3 to trash?
Yes.
Okay, so it's annoying enough if you're not Wizard.
Yes. And it also makes games ridiculously slow.
I know it. That's like half the time I see Museum, you just want to like concede.
Yeah.
I might be able to win here, but it's going to take forever.
Especially in online games.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get,
Yeah, you want to like test the deck.
Game, and he did it out. And here comes a museum deck. It's
Yeah.
going to last an hour, and
Yeah.
I don't have the time.
Right. It's like, I don't know if you play Hearthstone, but there's like the Control Warrior deck
Oh,
is a
no.
similar deck in Hearthstone. It's like you just concede when you see it. Like, I don't want to play here for 40 minutes.
You're right.
So yeah, Mike is just having a click for credits though, while the museum slowly moves.
So still no movement on that
Yeah. So that
advanced card. So possibly a trap.
yeah, and it'd be a trap. It likely would have
Could be
scored
a
it out.
Ronin.
Yeah.
How do you feel about back channels? The Wayland asset, that not an asset operation.
Yeah. So it's what, one influence, is it?
One
only?
influence.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid.
You gain $3 per advancement count.
Yeah. I've seen that a lot in Personal Evolution. Is
Okay.
an economic supplement is eventually you're going to have a trap that doesn't stick.
Right.
And so you get some money out of it at the very least. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Oh, goes for the legwork. And I think we know there's a snare or two in hand.
Yep. Reses the lockdown.
The lockdown for 0. And he's sitting... Yeah, so if he hits one of these, I think there might have been a fetal in there too. This could be bad news. Yeah, and there's fetal. So he steals it, but at the cost of 2 net damage. So he's not PE, so it's not 3 net damage.
Do we know what click this is?
This is click... And he bounces the advanced thing, which that is nice. Normally that would be a really risky run, because if that's Ronin, you're just dead.
Right.
But yeah, he's Leela, so he bounces it and accesses 2 more cards.
Okay.
It's Caprice.
Trash and Caprice.
Yeah, get her right out of there.
Yep.
And 1 more. He's got 2 in hand, so if this is just... Oh, that's Cerebral Cast?
Yep.
Okay, so we're probably expecting some Scorched Earths or something in here then, too. That's you do a side game, you get either a brain damage or a tag.
Right.
So yeah, you're expecting. Okay, so that was early clicks, but he can't draw up. So if he has triple Neural, this is game. Or yeah, he's got 2 in hand, so the flipping the ID isn't enough. So he has not snapped 3 Neurals onto the table, so
So it looks like an install advance from Mike.
yeah, baiting him yet again. Which again, against Leela, that is a tough play.
Yep.
You should just bounce that stuff back. He's on 5 credits, but low cards, so he likely can't run in on R&D. And museum, do you see what he got off the museum?
The Caprice.
Ah, yes. Yeah, which, trashing everything feels terrible against the museum history.
It's really, it should be the #1 trash card.
Yes, as soon as you see it, if you have a way to trash it, you should trash it.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, like if you have like a medium up or something like that, you want them to just keep shuffling, and then you're seeing tons of fresh cards.
Sure.
But against this deck, which you expect to kill you, you don't necessarily want to be doing deep digs on R&D.
Especially when they can just throw snares back in.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah. No, it's a really, from a design space, I think Museum of History is a really cool card.
It just takes forever.
Yeah, people haven't really adapted to, I think, how to play it. People are just like, oh, I'll just make a deck where I recycle everything, but don't have like a win condition. But no, I think it's a cool card. I mean, I like the idea they've had of where the cards that don't cost influence if you meet like a deck building restriction. I think that's a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Which unfortunately, there are a lot of cards that already met that deck building restriction, and so you just throw them in there, like you don't have to design around it. So that's a little wonky. Okay, moneying up, keeping cards up in hand. So yeah, against Biotech, you always have to keep at least 2 cards in hand because they could just flip the ID and kill you.
But against the lockdown, like it's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, right.
Especially since he's just running through it instead of paying it.
Right, exactly.
That cost what, 4 with Zool?
I think
believe it's
5.
string.
Yeah, Zool's at 1, so you did 4 to pump and then 1 to break.
Right.
So it ends up, it's expensive and it's 0 cost. The problem is that if you just draw early against it, you can just run through it. And even if you hit something in HQ, if you smack into a snare, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So inside jobbing on R&D. Likely look. Oh, hit snare though.
Oh.
So yeah, definitely firing that snare. And this is, I think, and he let the lockdown go, I think.
He ran into R&D.
Oh, R&D. Yeah, I'm a fool. So he's got to draw up. So he has 1 click left. And he takes a buck with it.
And removes the tag.
Removes the tag. But he's only on 1 card in hand. So that's the game. There we go. And so I think what he was debating is whether it was better to draw the card or clear the tag in the last click. I think drawing the card is probably better because that's a sure kill. The other one only... Yep. He saw Cerebral Cast, so he's probably figuring there's Scorch, but he has to have that in hand. The ID is always in play.
Right.
So yeah, Leela gets sniped. And yeah, Mike didn't have to do a whole lot for it.
No.
He just kind of, just let him run into snares and bounce off Feetles and all of that. And
just doing Jinteki things.
JJ gets 2-0'd there by Mike. And we are moving right along onto the 3rd round. Got a couple more rounds to go, and then we're on to the top cut. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.